know, for years, we reported Daniel Bryan out with injury, concussion, neck injury, seen by this medical doctor, that medical doctor, training to get back in the ring, training in hopes that WWE gives him the call to come back. And that one news story never ever broke. It was always Daniel Bryan went to another specialist. Daniel Bryan got another test. Daniel Bryan trains in hopes to be at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan goes on Instagram and says, when will WWE clear me? With the announcement of AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura heading to the WWE. He wanted to be a part of what WWE was doing this year. He thought this year was going to be the year that everything was going to go right, and he was going to be able to do the things that he loves to do. We never got the full story about what was wrong with Daniel Bryan. Never. There was not one news article. There was not one dirt sheet. There was not one YouTube video that ever gave you the full story about Daniel Bryan's injury. It was always a huge puzzle with one huge missing piece. You're setting up this puzzle on your living room table, and you leave it there, laying incomplete. You walk by it every single fucking day, and it irks you that you can't finish this puzzle. That's what we felt like as a WWE community. Every time Daniel Bryan's name was brought up, it was always us rolling our eyes and wondering what was going on. Filled with misinformation and bullshit from Dave Meltzer and all these reported news articles from people thinking they know what they're talking about. People who have reported to the dirt sheets saying that they sat next to Bryan on planes, in airports, saying that he was medically cleared. Everything was answered tonight. The one thing that we all collectively, as wrestling fans, didn't expect was to wake up to a tweet from Daniel Bryan saying that due to medical circumstances, he is going to formally announce his retirement on Monday Night Raw. And the one thing that I can honestly say, and this has been well documented on my channel, on my podcast, every time I do a Monday Night Raw review, every WWE video that I do, you guys know I am a huge Daniel Bryan supporter. I'm going out immediately and buying that t-shirt that's available on WWEshop.com if it is not sold out already, which I'm assuming it is. The reason why I always made a big deal about Daniel Bryan was exactly what you've seen in the ring tonight. There's no way humanly possible, after watching him in the ring tonight, there's no way anyone cannot feel for Daniel Bryan. There's no way anyone cannot appreciate Daniel Bryan. There's not one way, or there's no way, that people cannot respect Daniel Bryan. Not only as a human being, but as a WWE performer. The reason why we all love Daniel Bryan is because out of everybody that we've seen walk through the curtain on WWE, he was the one man in a very long time that we can honestly put our hopes and dreams into and live vicariously through him. He was like one of us. Everyday, hard-working, loyal, dedicated, loves what he does. Everyday working man. He went out there and put his body at risk every single night to entertain you, but more importantly, every time he walked through that curtain and every time he stepped foot in between those ropes, you seen that he loved what he did, and it showed. Daniel Bryan stated tonight that he is grateful. And I doubt it. There's nobody that watched that did not at least shed a tear. As soon as Daniel Bryan spoke of his father, who passed away suddenly, everybody started to cry. Because that was the last time Daniel Bryan had seen his father. And that was the last time his father got to see his son on top of the world doing what he loved to do. We all wish we could live the life that Daniel Bryan had and feel what he has, loving what he does, as humble as he is. We all want to be that. That's why everybody loved him so dearly. Daniel Bryan mentioned that he is grateful for everything that he has accomplished, everything that has come his way, for the people that he has met, for the moments that he has, lived in WWE, for the fact that he met his wife and got married. Everything he speaks about being grateful, we are the ones grateful. We are the ones grateful because we got to see one individual who loves what he does without a care in the fucking world. We got to see one individual out there each and every week give us his body freely and willingly. And we got to see one of the greatest WWE in-ring performers of all time. I know there was an instance tonight where everybody wanted it to be, you know what, and I seen him talk about him diving through the ropes. I seen him talking about diving through the ropes, and I'm thinking, is this a big swerve? He started to smile, and I'm thinking, maybe this is a swerve. Maybe he's not really going to retire, But towards the end of the segment, our fears and our displeasure came fucking crumbling down on us, and one of the greatest of all time is retired. Daniel Bryan is now retired, and everybody can now free their minds and no longer wonder what is going to be happening with Daniel Bryan. He is now retired from WWE active in-ring competition. And I can honestly say that Daniel Bryan gave us moments that will live on forever. His WrestleMania 30 moments, the Occupy Raw moment, the entire journey that we went on with him to see him ascend to the top of the WWE, being 5'8", 190 pounds. Just by that alone, Daniel Bryan was immediately deemed a failure. He would not be anything. And he proved everybody wrong. Because he was himself. Daniel Bryan was himself. And he's the one WWE wrestler since Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dwayne Johnson to garner those types of reactions. There's not been one superstar since the Attitude Era that people have willingly gone out of their way to show their love for. And there will not be. There is nobody on the active WWE roster that will even come close to what Daniel Bryan meant to the WWE. Daniel Bryan comes around once in 5 lifetimes. You don't see that type of reaction by a normal WWE superstar. The reason why Daniel Bryan got those types of reactions because he was special. Whether Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H want to believe it or not, WWE had Daniel Bryan on their roster. And Daniel Bryan was, if there was no injuries involved, Daniel Bryan was the next man to ascend the throne that John Cena held for over 12 years and counting. Daniel Bryan was that guy. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't give a shit if you come to me saying that you're glad he's retired. I don't give a shit if you hate him for whatever reason. There should be nobody that's hating Daniel Bryan for the reasons that I already gave in this video. Daniel Bryan was that man. Tonight clearly showed that. It is heartbreaking as WWE fans because each and every Monday night, no matter if we bitch, moan, complain, or genuinely enjoy the show, everybody that we watch every Monday, every Wednesday, and one Sunday per month, 12 months a year, everybody that we see on our TVs, we welcome them into our family, and they are a part of us. We watch these individuals each and every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every pay-per-view, and we welcome them into our homes, and we get attached, like we get attached to a pet, to a family member, to a girlfriend, to a wife. These people are part of our families. We have to sit down and we have to think about what this really means as wrestling fans. Daniel Bryan, to me, was part of my life for the last however long he's been in WWE. Ever since he was on that shitty NXT brand, when The Miz was mentoring him, when he took that dive onto the announce table, wrestling Chris Jericho. I seen him, and I watched him grow from baby Daniel Bryan that nobody believed in, all the way up to WrestleMania 30, winning the WWE Championship by beating Evolution in one night. I was proud to watch Daniel Bryan grow. I was proud to be a part of his journey. I was proud to be a part of the Yes Movement. I was proud to say that I was a Daniel Bryan fan. And the Yes Movement, no matter if Daniel Bryan is retired or not, will live on forever in WWE. It's just sad that when the Yes Movement and the Yes chants are ringing through any arena across the United States, across the world, when the Yes chants are ringing loud and clear, it's heartbreaking that we won't see Daniel Bryan chugging along with the rest of everybody else. Daniel Bryan was very important to each and every one of us as wrestling fans, and I'm proud to say that I got to experience what Daniel Bryan is to the WWE and who Daniel Bryan is as a human being. I wish him nothing but the best from here on out in the next chapter of his life. I'm going to continue to follow him and wish him success in whatever he does. And the one thing that shocked me about everything that nobody ever reported is that Daniel Bryan mentioned by the age of 18, 3 to 4 months after he was wrestling, he had suffered 3 concussions. And each doctor that told him after the fact that he would be okay, he was really not. The one thing that Daniel Bryan said tonight was that he went for medical tests after being reported cleared by the Arizona Cardinals medical staff and concussion specialist. He was cleared by his own personal doctor, and he was cleared by UCLA. 3 doctors cleared Daniel Bryan. And he said that after the fact and after all those tests were done, that his brain and the status of what is going on with him really wasn't all that well to begin with. And he was forced to come to this decision. That's stuff that we did not hear from the dirt sheets. That's stuff that we heard today for the first time from Daniel Bryan. But in the end of it all, gratitude. Daniel Bryan says that he's grateful. We, as the WWE Universe, are grateful for Daniel Bryan. And I'll never forget what he's given us. I'll never forget who he is as an individual and a performer. And like I said, I wish him the best in this next chapter of his life. We just lost an unbelievable human being, and no doubt a WWE Hall of Famer. Daniel Bryan, no longer with the WWE, announces his retirement tonight on Monday Night Raw. So, amongst all that, Monday Night Raw tonight, obviously live from Seattle, Key Arena, Seattle, Washington, February 8th, 2016. The other big story that was tonight on Monday Night Raw was Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar starting the show off with a contract signing for their triple threat match at Fastlane. And I hate when they mention this, WWE Fastlane. They just can't say Fastlane, right? It's always got to be WWE. No, it's fucking TNA Fastlane. No, it's fucking Ring of Honor Fastlane. Of course it's WWE Fastlane. Why would it be anything else? Fucking stupid. So, Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns. This segment was fucking great, for the reason being that Brock Lesnar literally signed his contract, threw the table that the contract was laying on, threw it at Roman Reigns, and beat the shit out of Dean Ambrose in the process. That's how that ended. Usually the contract signings end in that type of way, but this is a Brock Lesnar contract signing. You know? Dean Ambrose wants to get in the Beast's face, and then he receives an F5, and Roman Reigns receives a fucking table being thrown at him. So, obviously, I loved what happened there. So, Dean Ambrose, throughout the entire show, after what had happened in the intro, was hell-bent on getting revenge on Brock Lesnar. And again, a second week in a row where Dean Ambrose is made to look more manly than Roman Reigns. What are they doing with this storyline? It's as if WWE is building up Dean Ambrose for Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns, again, stands in the shadows that will ultimately reap the benefits when he pins one or the other, due to a screwy finish. And that's exactly what's going to happen at Fastlane. There is going to be a screwy finish. If WWE is sticking to their guns with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family versus Brock Lesnar, I see the Wyatts interfering in that match, costing Lesnar. What's happening with Dean Ambrose, though? I noticed some dissension with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. But again, I ask this question. If WWE is thinking about turning Dean Ambrose heel, what sense does that make? What sense does that make? It makes no sense. What sense did it make for Brock Lesnar to come out and totally destroy Dean Ambrose twice? There was boos for Brock Lesnar after he F5'd Dean Ambrose for a second time mid-show. It's 2 F5s. Is this WWE's way of getting people to not cheer for Brock Lesnar? To take people away from being on Brock Lesnar's side? And hopefully they cheer Roman? That was my first initial thought. When Brock Lesnar came out, again, mid-Raw, to confront Dean Ambrose after Dean Ambrose was calling him out, people were obviously displeased with Brock Lesnar destroying the face Dean Ambrose. And then when Roman Reigns came out, he got no reaction. So I don't know what WWE's plan is. Are they building Dean Ambrose up for sympathy? Are they building Dean Ambrose up for a surprise victory? Are they going to turn Dean Ambrose heel? Because Roman Reigns continues to come to his aid when Dean Ambrose obviously states that he doesn't need any help? Is WWE building up Dean Ambrose to turn heel because they don't want Roman, or he doesn't want Roman Reigns to steal his spotlight? And Stephanie McMahon made mention of that very briefly, quick, in the intro. Here comes Roman Reigns. Of course you wouldn't interfere in my opening segment, you know? And then she made mention of Roman Reigns trying to steal the spotlight from Dean Ambrose. And then she went on to introducing Brock Lesnar. So they're teasing something. But what they're teasing makes no sense. The way to go here is to build Roman as the heel. Because I'll mention this again. Roman going into Fastlane against a Brock Lesnar and a Dean Ambrose, who are over with the crowd. This spells failure for Roman Reigns. It really does. Roman is not coming out of this looking good. This entire WWE storyline building into WrestleMania is going to feel forced. It's going to feel as if they're shoving this down our throats yet again. And people are going to obviously voice their displeasure with what is going on. Especially if Dean Ambrose is pinned. Especially if Brock Lesnar is screwed. And Roman Reigns, the pretty boy, the one that Vince McMahon and everybody wants in WWE, standing tall at the end of Fastlane. It's not going to look good. Especially if he pins his best friend. Now, what I proposed is what I'm going to be making a video on this week. How to book WrestleMania. Because obviously WWE did nothing to change their plans or even hint at altering their plans for WrestleMania. I still fully believe that Roman Reigns is going to WrestleMania to fight Triple H. You know? All these rumors going around. Who's going to be in Roman's corner? Who's going to be in Triple H's corner? WWE needs to do something unpredictable. WWE really needs to throw the wrench in the gears and switch things up. Because this predictable route down WrestleMania is not looking good at all, man. We're on the fast lane to predictability. Meanwhile, I want to get out of the fast lane and take a fucking detour away from WrestleMania 32. I want to jump out of the fucking car as I watch that motherfucker explode jumping off a cliff. That's what I think of fast lane. I don't give a shit where I land. I mentioned this on Off The Script. I don't give a shit if I land in a fucking ravine. I don't give a shit if I'm fucking rolling down a fucking hill. Breaking my leg in the process. I don't care. Anything is better than watching this predictable fucking garbage that they're doing with Roman Reigns. And then on top of that, if they turn Dean Ambrose heel, nobody's going to like that. I don't think Dean Ambrose is going to be heel for long anyway. Especially if he's feuding with Roman Reigns, he'll revert right back to being a face. So this is going to blow up in their face regardless. Anybody you put against Roman Reigns is going to become a face. Triple H is going to become a face after fighting Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. You think that smart crowd at WrestleMania is going to fucking boo Roman Reigns? Cheer Roman Reigns? You think they're going to boo Triple H? No. Triple H is going into WrestleMania a face. I guarantee you. Just like he was a face coming out of the Royal Rumble. As soon as he eliminated Roman Reigns, people were on their hands and knees praying to Triple H. Thanking him. It's coming. So again, another night, another Monday, I don't understand where they're going with this. I really don't. If WWE wanted something unpredictable, they would give the title to Dean Ambrose on the road to WrestleMania, come up with something creative. You know? Dean Ambrose would win the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns would be the one to turn on Dean Ambrose for him taking the belt that he thinks he deserves. Dean taking the spotlight from Roman. All Roman has to do, and it's simple, turn your back on your best friend. Boom. Instant heel, genuine reaction, Roman playing the role that he should have played since November. A genuine, hated heel. Now when people boo him, people would actually be genuine. And everything that's coming his way would be real. Roman would finally receive real reaction, instead of coming out tonight and receiving no reaction. None. WWE needs to do something, and fast. Because Fastlane ain't looking all that hot right now. Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler again. Ziggler beat Kevin Owens tonight with a roll-up. Feet on the ropes, 11-14. I don't know how the referee didn't see that fucking feet on the rope thing. Number one, the referee got to be fucking blind as a bat. Number two, it was right in front of his eyes, so there had to be some type of botch. He was in just terrible position to not see that fucking shit. Again, I don't understand why they're doing this Ziggler-Owens feud. You know, this makes match number 10. Owens won the first 8. Ziggler won the last 2 weeks. I don't know where they're going with this, man. Are they going to be feuding all the way up to WrestleMania? Week after week after week? I mean, if they want to make this, if they really want to make this interesting, they could do a Benoit Booker T, best out of 7. Remember that? Remember when they did that in WCW? People raved about that. Why don't they do the same thing here? Ziggler versus Kevin Owens. At least have these matches mean something. If you're going to go out there and fucking put these guys in the ring together to find out who's the better of the two, do a best out of 7. At least it would mean something, and then they could finally move on after everything is over. These guys fought 10 times, man. How many times do we need to see this on Monday Night Raw? There's no creativity. There's no imagination here. So Ziggler wins again, 11-14. He beats Owens with a cheap tactic, feet on the ropes. Charlotte versus Alicia Fox. Nobody cares. I don't care about Alicia Fox. I don't care about Charlotte. Put her in something meaningful, and then I'll do a review on her. I just don't really give a shit. She won with the figure 8, 5-15. Miz TV had Chris Jericho on it. Chris Jericho quickly turned that into the highlight reel, and before you know it, AJ Styles was out there. This segment went well over its fucking time limit. Well over its time limit. Now, I know I was ranting about the fucking Miz. Listen, the Miz is good at what he does. He's good at getting heat from the crowd. He's very underrated. He's not bad in the ring. I never said the Miz was bad in the ring. But this segment really did nothing. It made the Miz look like a fucking loser. It made him look like a chump. And the WWE put full focus on AJ Styles. So, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho is billed for SmackDown. I like that they're not having AJ Styles say much, because it leaves him intriguing. It leaves his character intriguing. We don't want AJ Styles to talk. We want AJ Styles to talk with his actions in the ring. So I'll probably tune into SmackDown on Thursday if I'm not working. More than likely I am. To watch that match. Because I think they're going to do better than the first time that they met. So I like that WWE is making AJ Styles intriguing by not having him say much. I like that they're putting emphasis on SmackDown so that you tune in to see these two guys fight, even though we all want to see AJ Styles fight on Monday Night Raw. But I don't see where The Miz plays into all this, unless they're building towards a triple threat match, which means nothing in The Miz's favor. At Fastlane, AJ versus Jericho versus The Miz. So where does that leave AJ Styles for WrestleMania? Are we going to get AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho built all the way up until WrestleMania? I don't know. But hopefully WWE has some solid plan for both Jericho and AJ Styles, but I like what they're doing with AJ right now, keeping him intriguing. I just don't see where The Miz plays into all this, but regardless of that, the segment went on too long, and all these guys played their parts very well. Now, funny thing here, I actually put, we'll talk about it when Ryback versus Bray Wyatt, nobody gives a fuck. You know, whoever made this booking decision for Ryback, this creative decision for Ryback to put fucking tights on him that say big guy with a big belt that goes around his waist, and they took the fucking overall straps off of him. I don't know who came up with this idea, but obviously they don't know who Bill Goldberg is. And because of that fact, they should be fucking fired from WWE Creative. How Vince McMahon okayed this decision is fucking beyond me. Like I said on Off the Script, who is this man? Vince McMahon was obviously abducted by fucking aliens. He was anally probed, and he was fucking brought back down to Earth as another human being. This is not Vince McMahon. This is not Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon would not okay this decision. I thought WWE's idea was to get away from the Goldberg chants. Now every time he comes out, they're chanting boring, Ryberg, Goldberg, and Ryback has no emotion. He shows no emotion when he comes out. How am I supposed to care about him if he has no emotion? It's as if he doesn't even want to be there. Seriously. He looks like a joke. He looks like a joke. Chris Jericho made a mention that the highlight reel with The Miz and AJ Styles was not complete unless they brought out a potted plant. So I asked on Twitter, who was more entertaining on Monday Night Raw? The potted plant or Ryback? And obviously you guys know the fucking conclusion to this poll. This was the only poll that I held tonight, if I could find it. 383 votes. The potted plant with 90% and Ryback with 10. Who was better and more entertaining? The potted fucking plant beat out Ryback. That says it all. And the people that watch me are fucking smart. They're not going to vote Ryback. The potted plant. So Ryback, I don't know what they're doing with him. There were reports that Vince McMahon and Ryback were discussing something for him at WrestleMania. What are they going to do with Ryback at WrestleMania? Seriously. How are you going to build him up to be anything meaningful in 50 days till WrestleMania 32 if you're going to feed him to Bray Wyatt? I don't give a shit that he was fed to Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt can use any victory that comes his way. But how are you going to make Ryback look important? He looks like a fucking joke. He doesn't look like a fucking real competitor to me. He doesn't look like a champion. He looks like a fucking made-up recreation of Bill Goldberg. Goldberg at least had fucking personality, and he didn't utter one fucking word. He didn't utter one fucking word for months. He came out, speared, jackknifed, and fucking left the arena. More personality than Ryback ever had. So what are they doing with Ryback? Get off my fucking TV, please. The only thing that WWE needs to change is Ryback. Get him off the TV completely. Seriously. And the things that you guys should change when you're watching Ryback, instead of drinking a fucking cold beverage, chill some NyQuil. It'll ease the fucking pain from watching this joke wrestling these new fucking tighty-whities that he's got on. Absolute fucking disgrace. Ryback should not be on my TV, and he looks like a fucking joke with his new outfit. His new overalls. What the fuck he's got? Big guy. Please. So fucking stupid. Titus O'Neil versus Adam Rose. Nobody fucking cares. Seriously. Adam Rose beat Titus O'Neil 3-19. After all the wins he got over Tyler Breeze, they let Adam Rose beat fucking Titus O'Neil, right? I don't believe it. What? Why? Why? All the wins that he got, right? How many wins did he get in a row? 16, 17 wins that Michael Cole documented last week, and he loses to Adam Rose. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? Lucha Dragons versus Rusev and Alberto Del Rio. Rusev and Alberto Del Rio beat the Lucha Dragons in 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Top rope double stomp to Kalisto. What type of booking decision was that? Seriously. This is the United States champion who's taken a fucking pinfall from Alberto Del Rio. Great job at making your champion look fucking strong, WWE. What was the reason for that? I mean, are the League of Losers becoming a solid, dominant team in the WWE? I mean, why did they need a victory instead of your United States champion and a returning Sin Cara? Please explain that to me. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Tamina versus Becky Lynch, I didn't give a shit. I really didn't. Sasha Banks was out of commentary. She took a fucking beating from Naomi, I'll tell you that. But I'm assuming that's going to be a match at Fastlane. Tamina and Naomi versus Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. So expect that, I'm assuming, at the pay-per-view. Probably the best moment of the night, besides the Daniel Bryan, in a good way. I mean, in a bad way, he's not going to be with us any longer. But I mean, that moment obviously, made everybody tear up, and it was fucking emotional. But as far as an in-ring aspect goes, the Dudley Boyz and the Usos versus A New Day and Mark Henry, 8-man tables match, and the Dudley Boyz turned heel. I like this. And I'll tell you why I like this. Number one, there was no direction for the Dudley Boyz at all. Okay? They were stale as fucking 6-week-old bread sitting on your kitchen counter. Stale. Hard as a fucking rock. Dudley Boyz come out. All they got to do is turn on the Usos, who are still fan favorites beyond me. When I say Us, you say boring, because that's what they've been. Boring. So the Dudley Boyz come out. They get the victory for their team, and before you know it, I put my head down, I'm seeing the Dudley Boyz attack the faces, and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing one of these small claps. Finally, WWE made a decent booking decision. Not only does this refresh the Dudley Boyz, but now what this does is make way for Enzo and Cass to come up to the WWE main roster, because they are coming. There's nothing left for them to do down at NXT. They're not factoring into the NXT Tag Team title division and the title at all. They're not getting another shot. I believe they actually lose to Dash and Dawson on an upcoming edition of NXT, which will then prompt the American Alpha team of Jordan and Gable to get a tag team title shot, which they are going to get at NXT Dallas, which they will ultimately win. So Enzo and Cass have nothing more to prove being down in NXT for over 3 years. It is time for them to move up. It is time for WWE to get familiar and affiliated with Enzo and Cass and what they bring to the table. Best entrance since the New Age Outlaws. They're making room for Enzo and Cass because now that the Dudleys turned heel, obviously the face team of Enzo and Cass can come up and you have another dominant heel team on the main roster. So you got a New Day, which are supposed to be heels, but they're portrayed as faces because the crowd cheers them. And then you got the Dudleys. And then on the other side, you got the Usos and Enzo and Cass. 4 solid teams in a tag team division. Good job. Then you got the Lucha Dragons. Then you got the Ascension that the WWE should be building up. You got the League of Nations. You got the Wyatt family. You got some decent fucking teams. WWE doesn't know what they have on the roster as far as tag team wrestling. Get with the program and give us tag team wrestling each and every week and not these fucking 8-man tags. Uncreative, unimaginative fucking garbage. And why are we getting a tables match when no titles are on the line? You know? This was merely, and I understand why they did it, because at the end the Dudleys turned heel. But in retrospect, a tables match, no titles on the line, it was fucking pointless. The only reason for the tables was to get the Dudleys over as heels. Good job, WWE. It refreshes the Dudley Boys, gives them a fresh start, and now they can move Enzo and Cass up to the main roster whenever they please. So I like that. Probably the best moment of the night. And Bubba definitely plays a better heel than he does a face. Okay? And then after that, we actually had the Daniel Bryan retirement, which I talked about in the outset. Not really a good edition of Monday Night Raw. I mean, we all waited for Daniel Bryan to come out, and the WWE did the right thing by having him go on last. If he came on anything before last, the entire show would have been just an emotional wreck. It would have been hijacked. People would have been chanting Daniel Bryan all night and yes all night. But WWE really didn't do anything to build towards Fastlane with anybody else, really. The only thing that they did was build more tension between Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns is just left fucking with his hands in the air. I don't know if they're teasing a Dean Ambrose heel turn or Roman Reigns heel turn. I don't know what's going on. But this entire show was centered around Daniel Bryan, and this entire show was centered around Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. So there you got it, Monday Night Raw review. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. I'll be back with more videos this week, obviously off the script. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Do not miss it. If you missed this past weekend's Off the Script, the link is down below in the description of this video. The Off the Script podcast on iTunes went live yesterday morning as well. If you missed that, links will be down in the description as well for that. I should have another DangerZone upload as well this week. And what else is down there, man? Obviously, ProWrestlingTees.com. Off the Script, the new t-shirt there, Get Off My TV. Always a great purchase. Makes a great gift for you, family members, or if you just hate the Big Show and Ryback and all these fucking goons that come out on our TV and you don't want to see them, join the movement, man. Rep the movement. Get Off My TV. That's ProWrestlingTees.com/offthescript. $19.99. They ship internationally and everywhere within the United States. And WrestleCrate.com. Always great. WrestleCrate.com and on Twitter at WrestleCrates. They also work out of the United Kingdom. If you guys want to go see that, I did do an unboxing on part 1 of Off the Script this weekend. And you can use the code JD sent me for an instant 10% off. That is your Monday Night Raw review. I'll be back this week with more great shit. This is JD. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you think about the Bryan situation. Finally retired. Let me know what you think of the Dudleys. Let me know what you think about Ambrose and Reigns and Lesnar and Fastlane and everything about WWE. I'll read the comments tomorrow morning, guys. Until then, good night. Take care. And I'll see you all very soon.